Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
All right.
La la
Live.
la hive. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, puppet.
We're like so depressing before we turn on the live button, and then we're like, live.
Is this like a performance?
I think it is. I think you have to like turn on your like voice. You know,
Yeah.
it's like when you work in real like why did I just forget that whole word? Customer service, and you're like,
You have your customer service
hi,
voice.
thank you for coming into Chipotle. What can I get for you? Ugh, gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, or like when you're talking on the phone. I definitely have a phone talking voice.
I've never had a job where you have to do the phone calls and like really put it on.
You know what? I know you haven't, because whenever I call you, you sound like the most dead individual I've ever met in my life. I shit you not, you guys. When Ryan answers the phone, like I'll call, and he'll be like, "Hello," every single time. It's just like, "Hello, hello," like death.
I hate phone calls. This sounds
I'm like,
horrible, but like every time I get a phone call from like Rachel, I'm like, what the fuck does she need?
"Hello."
I mean, if it's Rachel, I'll just be like, yeah. Hey, what can I do? What do you need?
Yeah, I even
I'm like,
was like, I was
get to the point. What do
I
you
was
need so we can get
with
off the
somebody, and I put it on speaker, and I was like, just wait until he answers. He's like, "Hello."
phone? Wait, you've done that?
Yeah, I think I did it with Megan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we were trying to figure out when you were gonna come to our stop, and then you fucking bailed on us that day.
Oh, I mean, you were kind of annoying me that day, anyways, because you were because we were just on our own timeline, and you were just like, "When are you getting here? When are you getting here?" I'm like, "Ship Shawan is the last thing on the list." I'm not.
I had no idea what the plan was, and
We were building the plan as we were driving to Indiana, so like.
yeah, but then Heidi came, and she was like, "Where's Ryan?" And I was like, "I don't know."
I'm not just sitting around Ship Shawana the whole day.
But I didn't care when you got there. I see you all the time.
And then I was like, oh, it's Becca. She left a message. She's probably like, where the fuck are you? And then I played it, and you were like, where the fuck are you?
Yep. I'm a creature of habit. What can I say?
Yep.
We were having a good time anyway. I didn't care where you were, like I said. I see you all the time. How are you, Ryan? How's your day going? Is the kiln in your studio?
It's in the basement in the storage area, put together on the rolling cart.
Hooray!
So it's in the studio. We got it moved, and I've got my kiln listed. I have not got any bites on the kiln yet. I don't know why.
What did you list it for?
I listed for $1,500.
1,500?
With the brand new elements and everything, which cost me like $475 for all that stuff. I'm like,
Okay.
this kiln's at least worth $1,000 with all the brand new stuff in it.
I don't know.
It's not.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the inside. I don't remember what it looks like inside.
I mean, the bricks look really good. There is one brick that's messed up, the one at the top, like where the hinge is, because you'd have to take the hinge off of the lid, and then you'd have to put a new brick in there and shave down the brick and stuff.
Yeah.
So that brick's a little iffy. It's kind of pinned up with some of those, the element pins to keep it from just falling off. Like,
Right.
it's like a brick that's like partially broken.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
What if you did 1,500 OBO?
I mean, I could do OBO. So what I was doing was I listed it to the Clay Alliance first, which is just our email list of members, and then I put it on the Clay Alliance Facebook page, which is just the people that are in that group, which is some members and also some non-members that just happen to join. And I was expecting to get some bites, or at least somebody contacted me and be like, hey, I'm interested. Would you take this amount? I mean, maybe I have to put or best offer on there. And then I'm like, I'm trying to buy my time so that I don't have to put it on Facebook Marketplace because I don't want to deal with the people. But maybe with the price, it would keep people at bay a little bit. And like I did really well with all the listing of like having all the details there and like photos of everything. Yeah. So I'm not trying to like trick anybody. So I don't. Maybe I'm just not patient enough.
You never know. Who even knows how to sell kilns anymore? Really, truly.
I don't know. And then I'm like, is it time of year? Like, if this was a different time of year, would people be more likely to just snatch it up? Yeah, I don't know. I figure somebody that would have a kiln sitter kiln's like, yeah, I've been wanting to upgrade, or I've been wanting to get a bigger one, or whatever, and I'd get a bite for that.
Especially in Cincinnati, where there's so many freaking potters,
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting to a point, I would love for it to be somebody's, like, early on kiln, or what, I did talk to a couple of people, like, I mentioned I talked to Jessica to see if, like, she wanted one. She was interested in buying one. And then I talked to somebody else that's local to me that's, like, 5 miles away, and she's in Fort Thomas, and I was like, do you need this kind of kiln? Like, and she's like, I got this old one that it's a kiln sitter, and I'm trying to get hooked up. I still haven't hooked it up yet. And so I tried her. She was not interested. But, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I could always, like, mention it to Queen City Clay or Cork Clay and be like, hey, I got this kiln, by the way, if you have any members or anybody that wants a kiln.
Right, for sure.
Or to buy a kiln. But, I mean, if the people fire there, then it's kind of competing a little bit. It's taking business away if they happen to get a kiln and hook it up and stuff. But they do kiln services.
That's what
so
they
like,
want people to do eventually,
And they can pay one of those businesses to come help them hook it up, and they know electricians that can hire out to get stuff hooked up and talk about maintenance and all that shit. So
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, I want to get it out of here. I don't want to move it into the basement and then push the other one in the way into where it needs to be, and then like have to test it and like plug it up and show them that it works and all that shit. I just want to, like, if it moves, it's going out of the house.
Take a video of it working.
Yeah, I could do that.
Just take a video of it working and being like, here's the deal.
I mean, I'm a
professional potter, yeah.
I mean, the photo that in the listing, I said, like, it's been fired as recently as last week. I fired a glaze firing in it, and I, like, showed it the photos with the screen on and stuff, so, like, they know it works. Yeah. But, I don't know. That's okay. It's only been, like, 2 days, so.
Yeah.
Or I listed it yesterday. It's been 1 day.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna get your new one in there, right? Before you get there.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna take that long. Like, we got a week and a half, 10 days or something. My next step, if we get to the weekend and it's not, I'm gonna put it on Marketplace.
Okay. Nice.
So, and I could do the or best offer, like
Yeah. Yeah.
But. Yeah, that's what's going on. I had a Clay Alliance meeting today at NKU, where I went to school. We did like a little pizza party. So on Fridays, normally they like make pizzas and then they put them in the kiln. So they have like a little pizza oven. They wood fire and then they throw them on the stone and stuff. So that was pretty good. And then chatted with them. I'm going to actually go do a demo to one of their wheel classes this semester, maybe in the next few weeks.
Oh, nice.
Just for like an hour or two, which will be fun. I'm a little nervous because I'm like, what do I show them? Because I don't want to just talk, because I feel like I'm not the best just straight talker to a bunch of students that are going to be distracted and all that shit. So I'm going to throw some oil bottles and talk about, I don't know, a little bit of, what I do and, maybe the business of like the oil bottles and carving and sgraffito and stuff like that. And then next semester we might have them come visit the studio and actually see the workings of the studio. Because I'm like 2 miles from the ceramics building, so it's like right there. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, what's new with you? What's going on? You're in a different city right now. What?
I had a question about Madison Chautauqua. How was the Madison
Chautauqua
show?
It was really good. I sold, let's see, what was it? 48.69.
Nice. Sounds like you did better than most of the people there.
Yeah. I did it last year as well. I sold about 4,500 last year, so about $300 better. Yeah. Maybe $400 better. I was comparing the items from the 2 years. Like my best 3 items last year were spoon rest 59. This is quantity of how many I sold. 59 spoon rest, 28 oil bottles, and 22 mugs last year.
Wow.
This year, 39 oil bottles.
Damn.
37 spoon rests, and 18 mugs.
Nice.
So like a little bit of bump in the bottles, but like significantly less spoon rests. I think the price difference between last year and this year, I think they were at 15. That was the last show I did them at 15 before the coffee festival, where I bumped them to 18.
Right, but you made more.
Yeah. So we'll figure out what I don't know what those numbers add up to, but 59 at 15. Let's see what that is. But yeah, let's see, 59 times 15 is 885. 885 versus 18 times 37. 666. I was like, maybe I shouldn't say this number. So a little bit less, but like the big difference was I was telling people at the show the spoon rests were, or not the spoon rests, the soup bowls. That was the very first time I debuted soup bowls at a show.
Oh yeah. Last
year, I sold. What was it? 18 soup bowls last year at $30. 18 times 30, $540. And then this year I sold 16.
Okay, that's impressive too because it's not fall yet.
But it's like the first show that is actually feeling like fall.
Yeah, but it's still pretty fucking hot right now.
So I sold $100 more. I made $100 more in soup bowls and sold 2 less.
Yeah.
And I still have some left over. Last year I think I pretty much sold out.
Yeah, you did.
So
that's great.
I found a good spot. So yeah, I did well. We met up with some pottery people on Saturday night.
Yeah,
so
Deanna said she.
Yeah, Deanna. Oh gosh, I'm gonna forget somebody. Merritt, Deanna, Cara Lovell, Savannah. I can't remember Savannah's last name.
Savannah.
Jacob.
Oh yes, Savannah Jacobs.
And her husband. I can't remember his name.
His name is Nathaniel.
I was gonna say he seemed like a Nathan. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Autumn. And then there was somebody else there. Oh, Haven was there.
Haven, yeah.
And then Rachel came with as well. That was pretty good.
Nice.
Usually the food's kind of like shit in town, but you kind of got to get a reservation at one of the places that's decent. So that was good.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't having that great of sales like most of them. I don't understand. Yeah. I don't know if it's location or what.
Oh my god, I was having a
Merritt has the fanciest stuff. Cara has pretty fancy stuff.
Merritt won Best in Show.
Yeah, she did.
That is so cool.
Yeah. I'm guessing their average price points are a lot higher than mine.
Yeah, fairly.
And then Deanna's, I feel like Deanna's not an easy comparison because she's jewelry and not
I don't
pottery.
think she is.
So I don't. it's hard to compare hers. And I don't know enough about Savannah's work. Haven's got a lot of functional and sculptural stuff, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny last night. I spent the night at Ryan's parents' house last night, well, in their driveway, and it was so funny. I mean, like, we spent the whole night just bickering, me and your father.
Bickering?
Not even bickering, just, like, discussing things, and then he was like, we were talking about your sales, and then we were talking about Madison Chautauqua, and I was like, he did way better than everybody else. And then he was like, blah, blah, blah. Well, he's really good at social media. And I was like, it doesn't matter, Carl. I was like, it's Ryan. I don't know what it is, but it's Ryan. If I sold the exact same thing as Ryan, if we split your booth in half, and I sold at a show, and then you sold at the same show, or whatever, it was like in an alternate universe, and we both sold the exact same things, you would make twice as much as I do. I am positive. I think we need to set up a secret camera. I'm not going to tell you when.
You're going to set up a camera?
Yeah.
See,
and we're just going to... Well, maybe I'll have Rachel do it. We're just going to film you the whole show, and that'll be the whole podcast. Just, like, listening to you talk to people.
Okay. I'd be down for that.
It'll be boring as shit. But
it'll be very boring. You would have to clip it.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to clip that?
Not really, but we could just put it on YouTube and tell people to go watch it.
But you'd have to do it where you can't see people's faces or something. It would just be
right. Yeah, maybe it's just audio or whatever.
Yeah, or you face it toward me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Isaac says the same kind of stuff. He's like, man, I don't understand it. You're like a show god. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything fancy. I don't understand it.
No.
You've been there with me at the coffee show. Like, you know what I do. I just talk to people.
I know, but you're just really approachable. You're like an extremely approachable, non-threatening man.
It's the shirt.
It's the shirt.
The fancy shirt.
And you're a little bit shorter than the normal man, and you're skinny. Like, you're little. You know, you're little. You look like a teenager body. And
don't tell Rachel that because she fucking hates it.
I know she does hate it, but you are small. So you don't look like a teenager, but like obviously you have a beard. But anyway, moving on. He's a non-threatening human.
I don't get it.
You think I get it? I don't get it.
I think it's just subtle. Maybe it's body language. Maybe I understand body language and when to talk and when not to talk, and like
maybe
the situational stuff, and then say just enough that's not salesy, but is also not like pestering. And I don't know.
Yeah, I
think there'd be some value in that, but I don't know.
So anyway, so I am in Memphis right now.
Yes.
Well, outside of Memphis, at Teresa's house, and I was at your parents' house, and the day before that, I was at the Beal's house, Beal Pottery. So.
Oh, you didn't even stop in Indianapolis?
Oh, I did for 4 hours.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. I was gonna stop.
I didn't realize you had to go to or you didn't have to go to Memphis that quick, but I figured you would have stopped in Indy and got a little work done and fired some stuff, or I don't know. Or I guess you were at the Beals, so you didn't really need to.
Well, I did fire some stuff. So I actually spent the night at Deanna's house and fired some earrings that I have to ship out before we leave, and for a wholesale order.
That's good.
And what?
I said that's good. I saw you got into a new shop too.
Yeah. And that was like a twist of fate because Megan Yarnell actually lives 40 minutes like north of that shop. It's in like northern Ohio. Mm-hmm. And I like looked at where the shop was, and she had asked if I wanted to be in the shop because Amruta
I was gonna say I saw Amruta was there.
Yeah, Amruta told her about me, and so she reached out to me, and I was like, sure, and so I sent my stuff, but I was like, Megan, do you live close to this? And she's like, oh, my husband goes there every day. And I was like, great. Could you, if I like packaged up a bunch of stuff, could you send it? Could you like have him take it? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. If that hadn't happened, I probably would have completely forgotten to ship it out. So.
But it was earrings, right? Like it wasn't anything huge. So you could have
it
shipped it, but it's good that they could hand deliver it safely.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, Why
are you in Memphis?
I'm in Memphis because we are headed to Disney World on Friday with 3 girls, Teresa's kids, and then me and Teresa and Brandon, her husband, and then Brandon too, his best friend. His name is Brandon, but we call him Brandon too. And so we're headed to Disney World. We got 3-day passes. I saved up a bunch of money, and yeah.
Have you ever been to Disney World?
I have, but I was young. But I will say that, like, I'm not one of those people that, like, needs to go to Disney because I had a season pass when I was in college because they had a huge, super amazing deal for locals when I lived in California.
Oh, okay. Disneyland.
Disneyland, which is not the same as Disney World, but, you know, when you go every weekend...
Is the difference just scale? Disney World is just so much more massive? Okay.
It's huge. Yeah, and so there's, like, 5 different parks. So,
yeah, Rachel went to, the Harry Potter one a couple of years ago or 3 years ago.
I think that's in the,
It was in Orlando, but the Wizarding
it's not
World...
Disney World, it's
or Universal Studios.
Yeah, Universal Studios. So, actually, they're going to go to Universal Studios. It's just going to be Teresa, Brandon, and the 2 older girls, and then me and Abby, the 2-year-old, are going to chill out in the pool. So...
Nice.
Yeah.
Just don't let her drown and you'll be good. You'll be set.
Exactly. I have 0 interest in Harry Potter World, so, like, because I never watched I did watch it, but I mean, like, I don't really care about it.
Yeah.
Which will probably
some of the movie rides and stuff would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or that's not Harry Potter World. That's one of the other Universal Studios parks, or maybe that's the general park.
Yeah, I think Universal has like the Jurassic Park ride and stuff like that. So
Back to the Future and Avatar and stuff like that.
Yeah. So Indiana Jones is in Disney World though. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to Disney World and I'm excited, but also like I'm going to Disney World with 3 kids. Like, what do you expect? Like, it's stressful. It's going to be stressful. If I get out of it alive, I feel like I'll like...
So, the youngest is 2 years old. How old is the oldest?
7. So, it's 7, 5, and 2.
Okay.
So, yeah, and your parents are taking care of Lloyd for me, which is nice. Because afterwards, after we get back on, like, Saturday or Sunday, and then I have to jet up to Louisville to get the cat, and then I got to go to your house, and then you'll be gone, and then I get the free reign of your studio.
Well, I mean, you'll pretty much be here for a couple days while I'm here, I think.
When are you leaving?
I leave on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be here for a couple days, but I get free reign of the studio when Ryan's gone.
Yeah.
Don't
mess it up and don't break anything.
Me and Rachel are gonna go crazy. I cannot promise not breaking anything. Okay.
What are you gonna break?
I don't know, because last time
I mean, you break stuff, but
wheel.
don't break anything in my studio.
Last time I broke a fucking wheel, Ryan. I can't I just looked at it and it broke.
Damn it.
Damn it. I'm that friend.
You're gonna break
I can't
something.
Control that. I'm not gonna break it.
You're that friend. You're that friend that comes to places and you break something before you leave.
I break things and I leave things.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Your pasta tools are here, so maybe there's a little handmade pasta in the works, possible?
I think definitely. While I was at the Beals house, Mila, their youngest, turned 16, and so Eric is Italian. He's the guy that wears the overalls. Eric's Italian, and he made meatballs and red sauce, and then I made homemade pasta. Ooh. It was so good.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any pasta tools, so I did it all by fucking hand.
Ooh. That's hard to get
Like,
it that thin. Is that just rolling
I
pin?
did not get it that thin. They were chunky, and I was like, you're just going to have to deal with the fact that these are chunky. But they were still good.
Huh. Is it better to, like, could you have made, like, ravioli or something instead with it being chunkier? Or would that just not have... You still got to get that kind of thin.
Yeah. I mean, I made more of, like, a Alfredo pasta kind of, like, fettuccine. I guess, like, chunkier fettuccine. Okay. But it was still delicious.
We got some pesto here, so I feel like we need to use some of that pesto.
Yeah.
Maybe some pesto and maybe some chicken thighs would be good.
Yeah.
We need to get some new Uncle Chris's seasoning, though. We are out.
I need to get... Thank you for reminding me of that, because I left some at Teresa and Brandon's.
And we're trying to figure out where to get it, because Rachel can't find it at Kroger. And I'm like, maybe they have it at Jungle Gyms?
No, it's probably just in Texas. You're probably going to have to find it online.
Really? Rachel was talking about buying it online, but I found it hard to believe that they would not have it anywhere else.
No, that's just like a small town situation.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't turn anyone down if they wanted to send us some.
Oh, wait, did she try to find it at Walmart?
No, she just went to Kroger.
Looks like Walmart might have it.
Okay.
They even have the big jar.
I mean, is that the one we had was the big one, or is it even bigger than that?
No, it's bigger than that.
Okay. I feel like ours is about 12 ounces, maybe? Kind of the size of a Coke can?
Yeah, well, they have a 20-ounce Uncle Chris's seasonings on Amazon for $22, or you can get the regular one for $6. I would just buy it on Amazon.
The regular one is
5 ounces.
Oh, the regular one is tiny.
No, the regular one is the one we have, 5 ounces.
Oh, really? That's only 5 ounces?
Yeah.
20 ounces is massive. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking, like, okay, it's probably going to be like the size of a 20-ounce Coke bottle or something.
We could get a 6-pound one for $74.95.
That's too much. I mean, with the amount of seasoning you like, you over-season the shit out of stuff. I mean...
Okay.
Okay, the chicken thighs are good with the seasoning, but some stuff is,
you
like,
cannot
over-seasoned.
Over-season, Ryan.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. You whitey. You... you white man. You cannot over-season something. That is impossible. It cannot be... No, it's like it's not
I feel
possible.
like we need to let the listeners decide. I think you can.
I disagree.
There is a level to seasoning.
Disagree. Anyway, moving on. Uncle Chris's seasoning, delicious. I didn't realize you could find it online. I need to get it into my little fun... I got some spice jars that I made from...
Oh, yeah. Did you make those just for yourself, or...
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so the spice jars actually I got from Jesse from Riverwood Pottery, and then I put stroke and coat polka dots on them and refired them.
Nice.
But I see that... But the problem is that this clay dunts really bad. And it will dunt, like, afterwards, so, like, I just found out that...
It's because it's like a cone 5 clay or something, and it...
It's a low fire clay. See, it's already... This one just, like, broke.
Ooh. Oh, I was thinking, like, blistering or something.
No, it just, like, cracks, like... It's been fired for 2 weeks, and it just cracks, so... That's awesome.
That sucks.
Yeah, so... It is what it is, but, you know... Don't buy low fire Laguna
slip cast, right?
Slip.
Yeah.
So anyway, what are we talking about today? Oh, we have questions.
Yeah, we have 2 listener questions. So, the first one comes from Blacktooth Pottery. It reads, question for y'all. I'm collaborating with a friend. She's creating designs for screen printing on mugs, as well as making the screens. I'm doing the clay work, form design, throwing, handles, etc., and glaze plan. How do we sort out the money aspect? 50-50? Is there a formula for this? Any experience you could share that would help would be much appreciated. Blacktooth Pottery.
Yay, thank you.
Okay, so she's creating designs for the screen prints and making the screens.
Yep.
And then he's making the forms. I'm wondering who's selling them factor in at all, besides just the work to get it to a finished state? I think it does.
I love how you're asking questions that neither of us can answer.
No, like when you collab with someone, I think whoever is doing the selling portion should be a factor.
Oh, I agree, but you're asking that question. We don't know who's selling it.
No, I was saying, does the person selling make a difference?
Oh, I think the person selling, I don't know if it makes a difference as much as the, like, pure, like, having the audience makes a difference, you know?
Yeah, like who's going to bring the sales?
Right. Because you could have the pieces and just drop ship them, you know?
Yeah, if somebody else handled the orders and they just said, hey, send this thing to that place.
Right. So I don't know if that really matters, I would say.
Okay, so clay work. So he's prepping the clay, throwing the forms, putting the handles on, and then probably, I don't know if they're going on wet or bisque. I'm guessing he's also applying the screens.
Mm-hmm.
Or applying whatever on the screens, like if it's an underglaze or whatever through the screens. I feel like you just pay for the creative, and then you basically own that design. I think that's what you should go for, like a flat rate, and then you can scale it however you want. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I feel like in this particular case, if you're working together, you either decide a percentage or you decide to just pay outright. Like if I was going to do a percentage, since he's doing most of the work and she's doing like the screens, I would probably, if I was gonna do a percentage, I'd probably do 20/80 or 25/75, you know?
Yeah.
But, and then she can get that continually, you know, if he's like selling that continually, or if she doesn't want to deal with like getting paid out continually, then I would, yeah, like pay her well for the design. And, you know, because it just seems like it's a lot less messy that way. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the outright payment is the easiest and cleanest way to do it. The most relevant comparison would be, from my experience, I had someone illustrate Marble, my cat.
Yep.
So they drew a pen and ink original on a 5x7 of Marble with a little bit of collaboration. Like I gave her the images and I told her a little bit of like, you know, she gave me the option of like, here's what I'm thinking for like border or framing it so that it looks a little bit nicer instead of just a cat in the middle of a page. And then she delivered that. I paid for the original, which I think was $150 or something. Or no, I think the original was 200 or maybe it was, I can't remember. It was something like that. Like, we'll just say it was 150. I think it was 150. And then I paid her a flat rate to use that likeness and that like image to get a decal created that I would then pay to get printed and then put on my mugs and sell for whatever.
Right.
Without having to pay her additional. And I think I ended up paying, I think she wanted 150 for the illustration and 150 for the rights to use it. And I have yet to sell one actually because I it's been on the back burner. I have some images on there, and then it's kind of like up to me to figure out pricing and marketing it, but I can also, tag her on any of the designs that get shared. Like if I share the mug on social and stuff, I could tag her as doing the illustration. But I think that's the cleanest way, because I was talking to probably 2 or 3 different artists about this, and one person wanted significantly more for the image itself, like $300 for the illustration, and they also wanted 30% for every mug sale for a year, I think. And then from there, I don't know if it was a different percentage or I couldn't sell anymore after I owned it after that or whatever, but yeah. I went with the flat fee just because it's so much cleaner. Like, I don't like keeping track of sales, like, so you list them online and then you take them to shows and you got to track like how many did I sell, how many did I make, and you got to like report that with that person and pay them, and it's just too much logistics for my liking.
How much did you end up paying for the actual drawing that you did get?
I think it was $150 for the 5x7 drawing.
I think that's a little low. See, like, I think like $300 for the drawing and like it being yours forever, I would be like, fine, that's fine.
Well, it was $150 for the drawing and $150 for the rights, so it was $300 total.
Oh, okay, $300 total. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think $300 is a great price, especially for something like smaller and.
Would it differ if it was like a design? That person that's making the design, I mean, maybe it's not scalable. Maybe they can't use it for other things. I don't know if they're a printmaker or, do they have any other use for it outside of the work they're doing with you? I don't know. I'm guessing he's getting the screen. So they're doing the graphic, and then they're handing him a screen, or they're making the screen, and then they're saying, "Here's the screen, do whatever you want." Yeah. So he's kind of they're hands off once they deliver the screen for the most part.
Right.
So I think that's just a flat rate in my opinion. I don't know that they should get a cut of every mug made or every piece made with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's so tricky. I mean, that situation is so tricky. And, like, every artist does it differently,
Does the design matter? Like, what if it's, like, a geometric pattern or something that's a design versus, like, illustrations of different characters or something in a collage? I'm thinking like an Elan transfer looking collage of different illustrations that gets created into a screen versus just like a bunch of geometric patterns or repeatable pattern or something.
I just like to say that I have a reason for yawning today because I've driven 5 hours. Well, 6 actually. Anyway, I don't know if it matters because like I think about Kurt's stuff and like we don't know the intricacies of that, but like he didn't design all of his patterns, like he's tagged somebody.
Yeah, the Greg OBJ. I think he's he's like a 3D modeling person. So those are models that were created, like 3D models, designs. So I don't know if he gets a cut of every single one.
Yeah.
And then what would be a reasonable cut? Like, would you be happy with if it's this kind of design, this setup? Do you think 20% would be reasonable? That seems high to me.
25.
25% of every single mug sold goes to them? I was thinking like 5%.
No. Wait, now I'm trying to think about what Andrew does.
Like Heidi burns her own screens, right? Like if somebody gave Heidi a screen.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like because the art, would you sell the cup if it wasn't for the artist?
I think there's factors that go into it besides just the design. I mean, the glaze could factor in. I think the handle factors in. The price point factors in. Like, all of that is a factor. How
Yeah, but
marketable
if it was
you
just
are.
an empty cup, how much would you sell it for? And then if you added up on the decal, how much would you sell it for then?
Like, yeah, like one of my mugs I would sell for $35, and then if I put underglaze transfer on it, probably $45.
So you're adding about 25%. Is that right?
Is it?
45 times point.
Well, 45
is 33. Yeah. You're adding about 25%, so I feel like that's the amount that you should charge extra. Maybe
okay,
20
but didn't it take you more effort to get to that finished product? It took you had to apply the screen. You had to do something to get it on there, so your labor is part of it, not just like if you just have the design, it's not anything until you apply it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe you I don't know. And then there's I mean, I guess the percentage is a safer way to do it because you don't have to fork out as much money for something that you don't know how it's going to sell.
Right.
So maybe in a sense that frees you up.
Ugh.
I wonder if there's a flat fee for like you can make up to 30 things with this at this price or something. I don't know. That seems pretty hard logistically to keep track of. From like the person making the graphic, like how do they really know how many you're selling? You know.
Right. I don't know. I think it's so up to the artist that's designing it, you know? Like...
Yeah. I mean, I think we both agree the 50-50 is not...
Not right.
It's not right in that sense.
Yeah.
Like if it was somebody else that was delivering a slipcast piece and you were putting... I mean, I don't know why you would do that. They would also have to have that skill set, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Blacktooth Pottery. Thanks for the question. I think that's Andy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Andy.
Thanks, Andy. I don't know when you asked this question, but I think it's been a while, so.
Yeah, so sorry about that.
Good luck.
All
right. Do you want to read the next one from Deanna? Do you have the list up?
Yeah. Okay. This is from Glazed Confused Creations. Deanna, our friend. How do you track your inventory on consignment at different locations? Are there systems you've found or see others use that you love? Are there ones you'd avoid like the plague? I love how you can track and run reports in Square on items sold in person, and I'm struggling to find a way to track and run reports similarly for consignment sales.
Ooh.
I don't do consignment, so this is all about you, boy.
That's why I had you read it. Okay, so consignment. This is where you basically loan pieces to a store. They sell it and they give you a check after it sells.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no digital system that I know of that does this for you or that can do this for you. All the stores that I've worked with and I consign with in total probably consigned with about 8 stores. And most of them, at least the good ones, will, when they send you a check, they will send you a list of what sold. Typically, that's going to rely on you when you deliver your work to give them a inventory list of what you have that you're delivering. So usually what I do is I will have, in some of those the more established stores are going to have an inventory list that they give you that's blank, and then you're going to fill it out, whether it's handwritten or digitally. And then you can, they have their different ways of organizing it. But typically it's an item number, it's a short description of the item, a quantity of how many of that item you have, a price, and that's pretty much it. And typically when you have all that stuff written out, you would just have a sticker on the bottom of each piece that would have the price and the item number. You could probably get away with just an item number because they're typically going to re-sticker them and put their own labels and barcodes on them so that they can actually get it into their system as a point of sale, and it ties with your name so they know when they run the report they pay the right person and all that shit. So the best stores that I work with give me a check that says like August sales, like I just got one yesterday, and they'll have a inventory list of what's sold with it. So like the one store that I do, they have an item number, which is not the item number that I give them. They have their own system of keeping up with the item numbers, but typically I can figure out where that is by like which inventory list I gave them. Let's say it was like March of 2023. I gave them a list and it's got all these things on it, and they give me an item ID with this item that's sold, and I know it's from sheet number from March, and I know that like everything on this list starts with 105242 or whatever, this item number. So like you can map an item number to your inventory list, and you've got to either manually or digitally mark it as sold. So like I personally like the paper inventory, and I don't like fill that out every single time I get a check in. Usually I'll get a check, I'll cash it digitally on their app, and then I will save it right next to my desk. And then usually once a month or every couple months, I'll take all that stack of checks I got and I'll go through my inventory sheets and like mark which items sold. I like to keep track of what months they sold. So like the check will have, August sales, and I'll just put like, 08, or I'll put 8/23 for August of 2023. And then I'll like put X's in a column if it's sold out. So I know like what items are selling well, which colors are selling quickly, which things did I deliver most recently that are selling well. So like when it comes time to restock, I don't have to guess and put the effort on them to be like, what do you want me to give you? Because like you already know what does well. And
yeah,
you can also see like if things sell really quickly, like maybe there's a price thing that like, for instance, I give a bunch of vases to the mica shop, and they typically sell well there. Like I don't really sell vases anywhere else, so like maybe that's a thing of if they sell too quickly, like maybe it was just right, but like maybe I can price it up a little bit because I don't actually have another gallery that I sell vases at, or like in person really. So
right.
I might price those up a little bit more because there's no other competing vases of my own anywhere else. So like it's and I don't have to like churn through them and make a ton of them when I don't really make them a lot anyways. So I found that's better than digital. Digital, I don't know, like I usually keep it in like Google Forms or Google Sheet, not Google Forms, but like a Google Doc, but it's like really hard to do on your phone and like click into the right cell and mark things off, and you can't really get the whole picture of item numbers and all that stuff, because usually the check and the list they send you is on paper, so I'm not really gonna keep up with that as easily as just, okay, I just need a desk, get my inventory list, get my papers out, get my checks out, and like file them after they're done. And I just do that like every couple months. So yeah. I don't know that there's a better way to do that or a system that does that for you. It's kind of meticulous, but I don't know. It's kind of a lot. I mean, it is I do drag my feet when it comes time to deliver new stuff to consignment shops. Not new consignment shops, but just restocking, because you got to go through that process of like setting each piece aside, and then you got to like write up the spreadsheet of all the items and type up the list and put the item numbers and sticker all of them. Like, it is kind of meticulous, but I mean, you only got to do it. I only deliver stuff like maybe 3 times a year.
Yeah.
To shops, so I try to do it enough, or give them enough work that I don't need to.
I wonder if you could make like codes, Because, like, I know what Deanna's going through right now is essentially, like, she's got a bunch of earrings. And they might be the same design, but she doesn't know what color's sold. And stuff like that. I wonder if she could, like, make a inventory code, you know?
I mean, I think you just need to list them out, right? You need to write some descriptive text for yourself. I don't know if it's, like... It's probably not as simple as, like, diamond aqua. So it's like diamond is the form, or diamond is the name of the style you call it, and aqua is the color, and that's as
I know,
simple
but
as it
like
gets.
for the store, you could be like it's DA01, you know, like diamond aqua, and it's the number 1 size or whatever.
Oh, it's a size thing. I mean, wouldn't the price tell you the size though?
Well, not necessarily. I don't know. I don't know. They're all different prices, you know.
Yeah, most of the stores will at least give me the short description with the item number that's sold.
Yeah.
So they will. The ones that I always do. Well, there's one that does a description, but they don't have the item numbers. But it doesn't matter because the description's enough. I don't have 70 pieces there. I just have like 15, or there's only 4 different items that are there. So like a short description is all I need. But I feel like an item number with the description is enough. As long as you can map to their item numbers. Like if you don't know if you can have them like send you let's say we're talking about this item, like which number is that in your system so I can keep track of it.
Right.
Because I mean any reputable business is going to have some kind of tracking item numbers and stuff like that to keep up with what items are selling and then who to pay. Otherwise it's like a free-for-all, and they're not probably going to do a great job of paying the right people in a timely manner.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a shit show. So, yeah, I don't know what else you can do that's much different. But yeah, just coming up with a simple system, even if it's like an abbreviated description that you know what it is, but they don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Because, I mean, you would hate for them to give you something that says earring blue, and that's it.
Right.
You know, like the one shop doesn't even give me prices. They don't give me how much the item was that sold. They give me the total number, and they show me the cut. So they haven't messed it up before. So, like, they're really good about getting it accurate with the item number and the description, and then I can write the price out to the side, and I can add up the prices, and I can see what the total was, and then I know what my cut is, and like it's always perfect.
See, that's why I think having like an inventory code would be good, because then they wouldn't have to write a description. They just have to be like QA01, you know?
Right.
So maybe that's like a better solution, where you have a code for every design, you have a code for a size, and you have a code for a color, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I would think also the earrings in a shop, they're probably on some kind of cardstock or something.
Right.
So they will have a good size barcode. Like they don't have to stick it on the earring itself. Like,
right.
Like they have enough of a footprint they could put a barcode with. I mean, typically a barcode's going to map to some item in the thing, and they can have whatever description they want, and then they would run a report. So.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking, like, it might be easier for a store if they had an inventory code, you know? Not for you. I'm talking for her, who has, like, a billion different types of earrings and a billion different types of colors and, like, you know?
Yeah. Do you think the store cares the specific breakdown of, like, what items are selling? I think they just do it to make sure they pay the right person, but...
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, when you get the report, then you have all of your item numbers in, and you can see exactly what's been sold.
Mm-hmm. Do you think most people that consign keep up with that?
No. Not a fucking chance.
Yeah, I don't think... I don't know. I would hope they would. I mean, I still cash the check, but I sit the thing in a spot where I know I can get back to it.
Yeah.
Because most shops, you're not getting checks every month, and you're not getting 6 or 8 checks a month. I'm getting maybe 2 checks a month.
Yeah.
Of all my stores. Like, I don't sell stuff every month. And big whoop, I get a check that's for 2 items sold. Like, I can do that. I'm not selling 15 items every time I get a check. I'm selling on a good day. Like this one I got was for $117. And it looks like I sold 9 things. $177. I think I said 117.
Yeah.
$177 for 9 things. So, like, I can keep up with that. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know a better system, but I still think it's worth it. Like, I don't know. It depends on you, the cut. Missy Elliott?
Anyway. You know all the songs. I don't know if anybody knows this, but Ryan is a lyrical master when it comes to 90s R&B. Any song. Just give him any song.
You're talking about any song. Like, if you just put the lyrics out there? I don't know.
Maybe 2000s. 2000s R&B. You wouldn't expect it, but he is.
You know, back in the day, I used to... Teenager, I would do the burn CDs with the writing on the front of it.
Yeah.
I call them the mix. And then I just did the mix 1, mix 2, mix 3, mix 4. I think it went up to like 11.
Nice.
I was thinking about them a couple days ago. I was like, I need to find those and like put a couple in my car and just...
Yeah, that would be great.
Back in time.
I wish I had a CD player for that. I would borrow those.
Wait, your car doesn't have a CD player?
No.
What?
Welcome to 2023.
Is that not standard anymore?
No.
Oh, man.
They stopped putting CD players in, like... Oh, when they started putting in screens.
Really?
Yeah. Like the big screens, not like the little screens, the big screens.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I'm sure Tesla doesn't have a fucking CD player.
Right.
But, okay. I mean, sometimes I like doing CDs because I don't want to fuck around with the...
Dude, same. And
I don't want
to... I had a CD player...
I don't want to fuck around with the radio either because you got to find a station. Plus, I fucking hate commercials. So, like...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess those you could plug into USB and probably access that pretty easily, right? That's what I do.
I just use my phone, but even still, I think it's so much more distracting, like, to have the phone, like, and the screen, like, I've been listening to a podcast called The Opportunist.
I thought you were saying opportunist.
Opportunist. The Opportunist. There we go. And...
The Opportunist.
The Opportunist. And I've, and so, like...
That sounds like a crime thing. Like, this person is a little bit... It sounds like a episodic...
Yeah, it is. It's an episode-based podcast that's about, like, people that take...
Advantage?
Opportunities to become awful people. You know, like, an opportunity arises and they take it. Like, it was... A couple days ago, I listened to a podcast about this guy in Kansas City who was a pharmacist, and this is fucking awful, Ryan. Awful. You're
just forewarning me so that they don't think that you're in support.
Awful. Right? I don't know how I could be, but so he was a pharmacist, and he was somebody who could mix different drugs and stuff. And so he was diluting cancer drugs.
Jeez.
And he diluted, like, to the point of some of the bags didn't even have drugs in them. They were just saline.
Oh my gosh. What was he doing with it? Was he selling it?
Yeah, he was a pharmacist. He was selling them and it was like ovarian cancer, breast cancer.
Oh. But why do you sell those directly to... He wasn't selling to individuals, right? He was selling to big companies or something?
No, he was selling them to doctor's offices.
Oh, to doctor's offices. Okay.
Because cancer drugs, you have to mix them. You have to, like, you
don't just buy it from...
Right, you have to like mix them
producer.
into saline and like dilute them, like not dilute them, but like mix them in so they can go in intravenously, and
Wow.
yeah. So he affected probably like 4,000 people. I don't know, some fucking crazy. He started diluting drugs in 1989, and he got caught in 2001.
Oh my gosh, it makes me think of like the sort of Doctor Death a little bit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like that.
Where like
But
they look at the medical records and the data around like these facilities are historically known for not progressing patients and they're getting worse, and the like bar graph of
Right.
deaths or something, or like you look at data and it tells you that like something's going on here but we don't know what it is, and then they got to track down that.
yeah.
Wow.
Freaking wild. So, I don't know why I started talking about that, but I did. Anyway.
We were talking about CDs and you were listening to The Opportunist because you don't have a CD player.
And it's just been like, I guess the whole point is like, I try to just skip to the next one because they always have commercials or this stupid song at the end, and I just want to skip to the next one, and it's never easy. Like, why can't it just be easy?
And you can't, usually if you skip forward 30 seconds, you have to do that on your phone. You can't do it on the screen.
I can on the screen, but it's still confusing, and then it fucks it up
and you've
somehow.
got to hit it perfectly, because you can't
Yeah, and then I started, like, hitting the episode on the screen, and then it would replay the episode. Like, what the fuck? And so...
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So...
CDs all the way. I'm still, like... both of our vehicles still have CD players, so... I still got the folding thing with all the CDs in it.
Nice.
I need to get we listened to on the way back from Michigan a Potter tour. Listen to the Shania Twain "Come On Over" CD.
That's what I heard.
Fucking
come
baller.
Come on over, baby.
That's
over.
that's Christina Aguilera.
I don't care. I love that song, and I don't know why that like came into my head instead of
Shania
Twain. Wow. But it did.
Come on over. I'm trying to think of what the "Come On Over" Shania Twain is.
I don't know.
I can't think of it. Now I just got the Christina Aguilera. See when I said that, I thought the Christina Aguilera too. And then when you start singing, I'm like, that's not even Shania, but
that's not Shania Twain.
No.
Yep.
I thought you were looking it up or something. I didn't know what you're doing. What are you doing?
I'm not. You were reminding me of like actually making money, and I texted Rebecca and I was like, have I even sold anything?
Making money.
Those sort of things.
Yeah. All right, so we already mentioned this, but my kiln is in the basement. It is making its way to its final resting place in my studio. Erica helped me disassemble, get it in the house. It was actually pretty easy to do.
Let's talk about the disassembly and the assembly. What would you say was the easy, like what you didn't expect to be easy? What was the harder part?
The easiest was, let's see. Like the weight. I mean, everything being in sections, it's obviously very manageable. I couldn't do the rings by myself. I mean, I probably could, but I wouldn't want to risk the bumping things and moving things. Sometimes when you transport the pieces in sections, like some of the kiln sections can like bow a little bit, like oval a little bit. This thing was fucking tight. It didn't move at all. The bricks didn't like sink, and actually I was worried the elements were gonna fall out. The elements didn't really fall out of the little channels, even though they're not like fired into place and like sunken into the channels yet.
Yeah.
But they didn't just like flop out everywhere, because we were going through the sliding door and it's, I don't know, 2 foot wide, so it's not wide enough to just walk it in upright. So I would say that was the easiest part, was just moving it safely and then piecing it back together in reverse. Getting the lid off and like the spine off was probably the hardest part, but all the screws were brand new. So like I had better success. I actually ended up taking all the screws out of one side of the spine and then leaving the screws in the other side and just loosening them, because you got to kind of like slide it up and off. So I would say that was the hardest, but keeping the screws on one side was pretty good, because then I can get it lined up, because it's like minute shifts, and then you get the screws like to get that spine popped back into place. Because the spine like attaches all the rings together, and then the lid attaches to it. But that was pretty good.
My philosophy with kilns is if you don't have to take it apart, you shouldn't take it apart. But most of the time, you have to take it apart.
I mean, I wouldn't want to have moved that as a unit. I mean, we had it on the cart, the dolly, in the garage that whole time from Insika, and it never moved. But Erica and I and Rachel rolled it down the hill in the grass, and it worked out well. And then we put little like wooden ramps to get it up onto the patio, the walkway in the patio, and it rolled right up, and we got it right by the door. So
nice.
Like, it was pretty manageable. We didn't like bump anything, and it was you know, it wasn't rocking and doing all that stuff. So pretty good. Yeah. So everything was very easy. And I believe, so I'll admit, I didn't look up the way to unscrew to take the spring off.
Ryan.
On the website. Because they're pretty standard, but I'm sure it's on the website.
I'm sure it is. Oh my God, Ryan. That'll kill you. That'll kill you if you do it wrong.
Replacing a lid on a L&L Easy Fire. It is on here. This looks much more well produced than the one that I watched. Because there is a very specific way of... Oh, yeah. They tell you exactly what to do here. I was on my phone, so I was going for quick, but yes, it's on here.
Yeah. So...
I even took the lid off. I didn't
Needless to say, it was fairly painless to take it apart and then put it back together.
Yeah, it was very, very manageable. The, you know, in the electronic controller, you just open that thing, you take off the screws for the little wires that go from the control panel to the physical element screws. So it's just, you know, unscrewing a nut, taking a washer off, taking the thing off, putting it back on, you know, the nut back on while you can do what you got to do. And then the thermocouples is just a screw.
Yep.
Number 2 screw. Take out the yellow, take out the red. And then the panel like pops off. It like pops up and out of the pins, and just it's, you know, it's off there.
Easy
so
peasy. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, very good. Yeah, this...
Where would you find info on how to take everything apart?
I'm looking at it on hotkilns.com. This is actually in the all videos section. There's a lot of...
hotkilns.com.
There's a lot of videos in here. Element channels.
They never give us up as a sponsor.
Easy to change elements.
Yeah. Super easy. Also, I hope they never give us up as a sponsor, so I can always sing that high and that bad.
Safety pins.
Hotkilns.com.
Hotkins.
Hotkilns.com. I love it.
Ooh, they got
so
a lot
much.
they got a lot of Genesis ones in here too. They got 6 pages of videos.
God damn. They are probably one of the best, in my unbiased opinion, they're one of the best at as far as like information, what you need to know. I think it's because they're like, if we can help you without talking to you, that's
And
the best.
I mean, they definitely put some effort into these because they're all on. It looks like they're on YouTube as well. So it looks like L&L has a YouTube channel that has a lot, and then Bartlett Controllers has a lot on theirs as well. But they look well produced. Like, it's good lighting. It looks like it's in their factory. They've got some descriptive text on the videos to help you talk you through like what you're doing in this one step and then moving on. So like, it's not those dark garage videos with a shaky camera and all that stuff. So
yeah,
pretty good. Yeah. All right, hotkills.com.
Hotkills.com.
All right, an hour and 10 minutes. Becca.
I feel like it's been a struggle getting here. I don't know if it's because I'm uber tired today.
I don't know.
Can I say something before we start that I wanted to talk about, just really quickly?
About what we're going to talk about, or just...
No, just
tangent?
a general shout out to people.
Yeah.
I don't think I said this last week, but I found out that super glues have an expiration date.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about your earrings, right?
Yeah, so I use super glue for the earring backs because I'm not as precise. Like when I was doing 2-part epoxy, I'm not that precise. It just doesn't work for me. And so I started using Gorilla Glue super glue, and I glued like 700 earring backs. No, it was 1,400 because it was 700 pairs. And
when?
I glued it
recently?
with all. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I glued it with all super glue that was bad, and I didn't I had no idea that super glue went bad. No fucking clue. And
where'd you get it? Did somebody give it to you and they were just like, here, I have this, take it?
I bought the super glue. It's just like, it's been a year because I don't use very much, you know. And it's got a shelf life of like, they have a shelf life of 4 to 6 months.
Oh my gosh. But what happens if it's already adhered to something? Is it still deteriorating?
Fine. No, that's fine. It's just wet in the bottle. It's got a shelf life. After you open it, it's got a shelf life of 4 to 6 months. So I wanted to tell everybody, if you are ever super gluing or gluing anything, even epoxies, make sure you're checking to see how long the shelf life is, because it'll fuck you up if you don't know. So.
And it's mainly if you've already opened it. Yeah.
Opening it lasts like 1 to 2, like before you open it, it's 1 to 2 years, I think.
Okay. I got some E6000 a while ago, and I've never opened it, and I'm like, is that going to work?
I'm going to bet, like, usually you can look it up online, and...
I'm sure some of it's like, there's color differences and things like that are pretty obvious.
Yeah, well, and they usually have a date on the bottom somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it's in the package that it was bought in, I'm sure it says some information on it. They
have to have some sort of a batch date on it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Also,
I wanted to lend that out.
If you're doing Pot Swap, we have a design contest going on for Pot Swap.
Yes.
We would like your entries if you are so inclined. You do not have to be a potter to do the design contest.
No, you could be just an artist.
Yeah. Do you want to explain what the design contest is really quickly?
Okay. The design contest is a design contest for the shirts that we have for Pot Swap. They say Pot Swap 2024 on them.
2023.
2023 on them. And it's a contest where you get to win something. So the prize is both a fancy cut from me and a fancy cut from Ryan.
You get a shirt
in whatever size you want, and then a gift card to some
ceramic supplier
to be determined. If you work at a supplier and want to donate, let us know. To be determined how much that is, but
yeah. So the design, you're basically you're illustrating a graphic that can be sent to us, and then we will put it to the people to vote.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get 4 designs or 8 designs, and we do like bracket style, head to head, have people vote, and then we come out with a winner, and the winner is going to win those things.
Yep.
And then
so
we will.
It opens up. I think it opens up now.
Yeah,
right?
it's open now until the 27th at 11:59 p.m. So October 27th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Email your design to us at potswapofficial@gmail.com.
Yep.
Or Wheel Talk, whatever, if you can't remember the Potswap. And join us for Potswap. I'm sure this is coming out right before Potswap opens. So October 15th, I'm not going to fuck this up. Sunday, October 15th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time.
Fun fact, Ryan said December 15th in our Potswap episode, and I still have not fixed it. So
That's okay. I only
Fine.
heard about it from about 5 or 6 people and pissed me off a little bit, but that's okay.
it's fine. It's fine.
I'm good.
They just want you to know so that it was,
Yeah, so
that
other
you
people
knew.
don't make the mistake, and yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Onward.
Okay,
What are we talking about
today?
today? Why are you asking me?
I'm answering. What?
I mean, you're the one that brought up the topic.
I did bring up the topic. Okay. For once in our lives, for once in my life, I had someone to... Okay, anyway.
For once in my life, I had someone to need. Someone I needed so long.
For once I... Okay,
I go
Wow, we're
where
having a
life
rough
leads me. Somehow I know I'll be strong. All right, go ahead.
For once I... Okay, so... We're going to talk about how to avoid burnout, which clearly we're not demonstrating well in this episode.
Why not? Are we
And-
burned out in this episode?
I feel like we're a little ADHD here today.
We're
Just a
having fun.
smidge.
We haven't chatted in a bit.
That's true. So I was just, for once we finally we're like, hey, we have some ideas for some shows. And he had a really great idea, and then I also had a neat idea, and we thought that maybe we should do Burnout first because we're approaching winter, which is like hell for anybody that makes anything.
A lot of people,
So,
yeah.
so we're going to talk about burnout and how to best avoid it, I suppose, or we're obviously not professionals, but, I've burned out in my life.
I'm
you
feeling
haven't.
a little burnout, but I don't think you have to necessarily be like stuck to be like
Yeah.
burned out. I don't know. I think you can see it coming and you can be like, I feel it a little bit. I don't think it's a like
Right.
you're either in the burnout
I
camp or
agree.
you're not in the burnout camp.
I agree. There is different stages of burnout for sure. I'm on the more serious end of the stage of burnout, and Ryan is on the more like, okay, we're getting there.
Yeah, I'm like approaching.
We're
I'm like mild. You're like in the hot.
I'm like habanero pepper burnout. And I'm ghost pepper burnout.
On the scale of Buffalo Wild Wings hot sauce, I am in the mild sauce. You're in the shit
So-
your brain out, butthole burning hot. Ghost pepper. On
Have you
the
been talking
you're-
to Brian Wilkerson more?
Becca's
Oh my God.
face is on a Polaroid because she ate the hot wing challenge
And beat it.
and is still suffering the consequences.
Yes. So, I'm gonna Google what burnout is, according to Google.
And I will Google as well.
Definition. Okay. Burnout is a state of emotion. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands. And I would imagine almost every single business owner experiences some sort of burnout at some point in their life. I would say that. Because what we do is hard, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we can kind of like, I know that I talk to Heidi a lot about stuff like that, and she is really, really great at regulating herself because she burned out really bad. And I burned out really bad when I'm still, to give you a sense of, to give the people a sense of perspective, I suppose, I'm still burned out from 2021, and we're in 2023, so.
Wow. Is this like a scale of, on your pain scale?
On your pain scale, how many spoons would you like to donate to the spoonie pile?
I don't get that reference, but it sounded funny.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so, I think that the first thing we should talk about is breaks, because something that I've noticed, especially visiting a lot of different potters, is I've seen how people kind of like take breaks or work a certain way, and it, after like kind of experiencing working a long time and a lot, it definitely helps to have breaks, but it's like the hardest thing in the whole wide world.
So you're actually seeing them practice good habits, is what you're...
Some people practice good habits and some people don't, you know?
Okay.
And, like, I would say the best one practicing was Heidi. Heidi Fehrenbacher. She takes a break. She gets there at 9 a.m. She takes a break at 11. She goes for a walk at 11:30. She eats lunch at 12. She comes back. She takes a break at 2. And then she goes home at 4.
Yeah, we talked about that with her on our episode that's coming out this weekend from when we recorded.
She said, yeah, and she said for like a long time, she was like, oh, I can't take a break because I'll lose time and I won't be able to work as hard. And what she's found out is that actually taking breaks actually makes her work better and longer.
Yeah.
So.
And that will be on episode 219. If you're in the future and you have not listened to that episode with Heidi Fehrenbacher, it is episode 219.
Yeah, so let's talk about you and like your beginning burnout. Do you think that breaks are something that you maybe need to regulate a little bit more?
I think
how do you feel burned out? Like, this is a therapy session now.
Yeah.
How do you
how am I feeling burned out? I think I'm feeling burned out because I have commitments on the books that I've already had set for a long time, whether it's a show or vacations, vacations are fine. Like I'm not to the point where I'm canceling vacations because I have to work, you know.
Right.
I see the value in those breaks and those vacations and planning, you know, going to comedy shows or whatever. So, in a sense, it's the commitments of shows and, you know, I keep adding to that list and figuring out where the limits are, because some of it are hard and fast dates, and the gaps in between are not so hard and fast. Like, how am I going to actually produce the work? That is not a hard and fast date on a calendar that is set, so I can't overbook myself because I'm already committed to making the thing on that random Wednesday evening. You know, there's a pot swap is a date on the calendar that is set in stone that we are committed to. It has to happen because we've committed to it. In my mind, if I've committed to something and it's on the calendar, like, I cannot quit it.
Right. And
because I'm very follow through on something that I've committed to. I'm not going to cancel last minute, even if it's like going to a game night next week or whatever. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm just not going to go because I got something to do.
Right.
Like, I'm going to work around that commitment. But typically, I don't know if, I was going to say typically what is it? The part that suffers is either my sleep. So I might find myself staying in the studio until 1 in the morning instead of 12 in the morning. And then I end up getting to sleep by like 2 in the morning. Or it could be my day job suffers because I'm distracted and I'm doing pottery stuff, or I'm doing something that is not hands-on pottery stuff, but my mind is not focused on my day job. And I think that's a good, like, and then finding myself being distracted and like seeking out something like my phone to take my attention away.
Yeah.
And dive into something. And then by the time I realize it, 20 minutes is gone. I don't think that's like a, oh, damn it. Like I'm intentionally doing that because I'm not focused and enjoying the thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I seek out some short-term dopamine pleasure and stuff like that. So yeah, it's hard for me to eliminate things that I've committed to. And it's getting to a tipping point.
Yeah.
That's what's making me like foresee it.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I don't know that I get enjoyment and relief from breaks. Like, I'm gonna go golf this afternoon when I have a full evening that I could be getting pottery done to, like, quote unquote catch up, or like do something that I've already committed to that needs to get done anyways. Like, golfing is going to be a short-term relief that's going to leave me in a worse state.
Right.
Like, I don't see that as
like, planning ahead seems to be more of the solution as opposed to putting it off. Right? Like maybe next year you plan for like less shows. You know, like give yourself like more weekends that don't have shows so that you can catch up.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, free weekends are definitely crucial. Even if it's just planning to have something on a Saturday and nothing on a Sunday, and having a free Sunday like that. Like, when we get deep into the year, like, we have other commitments, or we have families, so we go travel to see the kids for their birthday parties and the different events that are going on that we have, that you do those things because you're expected to, and you don't want to be an asshole and just not show up to stuff because you're saying, oh, well, I got to do pottery. I can't come visit you for my niece or nephew's birthday party or whatever.
Right.
And then Rachel gets to be the one that goes, and they're like, why is he not here? And they're like, oh, well, he has to work. And, I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, I couldn't do it because I had to work. So.
Yeah, and like, really, realistically, you're doing 2 jobs right now. Like, you're doing pottery and you're doing your day job. It's not like, oh, I have a hobby down in the basement. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
I've made commitments. Like, and I take it seriously.
Yeah.
Some people might be willing to say, well, I'm just going to drop out of that show. Like, to me, that's not an option, because it is an option, but for me, the professionalism that goes with sticking to commitments is really important to me.
Right, and that's why you're successful, because you take that stuff seriously. And yeah, I agree. And
it's not doable for me to show up to a show unprepared. Like, coming to a show that doesn't have enough work, or I'm not going to have as much results at the show because I was unprepared and sold all of my oil bottles at the last 2 shows I did.
Right.
And I didn't plan accordingly. Like, I need to shift my workload so that I can have enough to make it worthwhile, so that when the opportunity's there, I'm at a show, like, I'll have enough mugs at the coffee show because I know mugs are going to be popular. So, like, I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
But, like, what's the balancing, and, like, what's the, what's the tipping point So I mean, I have decided like later into the year, like I'm not having shows on like certain weekends. So like I was starting to be like, okay, I want to do one more show at like this part of the year, but maybe it's like a farmer's market on a Wednesday. But I'm not like picking up a big show that's like a weekend in December.
Yeah.
So I might have like, I might realistically only have like 4 more shows for the whole year, or 3 more shows or something.
Right. Something small. Like, I mean, we're in October right now.
We're in early October, and I don't have another show until the coffee festival.
Yeah.
And that's the only show I have in October, which is good. Like one show in the month
is great.
is doable.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that, I mean, like, you make a lot of money in the winter at Christmas time, but you make a ton of money in the summer. And
yeah, and the fall shows are really good too. Like, people are still out and about, they're still spending money. They're starting to think about the gift giving season. The people that are like burned out getting to the holidays, and I see people say like, just do whatever you like. I don't know. I'm just more like make hay while the sun's shining kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like you got to do
that. What a Kentucky thing to say.
I don't know. I feel like you got to, it's coming. You know that period of time is coming. The shopping's coming. So like just opting out, and then you be like, I didn't have the greatest year. It's like you opted out in the best time to be selling the things. Like,
right.
That's why you make throughout the whole year, so that you're right there and ready when the opportunity's there. So like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just pushing too hard, but I don't know how likely that is that people just opt out of those periods because they get overwhelmed. But
well, I think that, what you haven't experienced in your life is that like full on burnout, or like, you haven't had as much experience with like mental illnesses, which is fucking great. Like, love that for you. Like super awesome. And so you don't necessarily have that connection per se with people that are like, I can't physically do that, And so, what is that in a plane? Wow, that's very close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds. Are you by an airport, like an Air Force Base or something?
No, that was like right over the house. Holy shit!
Wow.
That was impressive. Yeah, and so like you may not be able to like understand when somebody's just like, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm. I'm a solution person, so I'm like, okay, well, what can you do? What are the steps to get there? And then I can't do anything. It's like, well, there's got to be a plan. There's got to be something that you can.
What's funny is that Chris Cote in Solton, Washington once told me, he's like, he goes, he's so funny. He's like, I just fucking hate it when people say I can't do this, because like, yeah, you just said it. You can't. He's like, you already just said that you can't, so you just said you couldn't, so you're not going to do it.
Is that like the whole like manifesting the thing? Like you say the thing, so it kind of manifests and it builds on itself.
Yeah, because
you're giving
there's
yourself
like
confidence.
and there's like anti-manifestation too. Like, I can't do that literally is telling your brain, nope, not gonna do that, can't do that. Like, I had somebody in my like in a class, and she was with a friend, and she was like, I can't do that, you're gonna have to do it. And I was like, bitch, you don't even know. You don't even know if you can do it. You haven't even tried. Like, you gotta fail first. But on that note, I think that that's a good point to, like, especially as we get into the holiday season, if you're experiencing like more of a burnout than, let's say, you're in, like, what does that look like for regulating your like emotions and your expectations of yourself and certain things like that, like, if this is your full-time job, or if this is something that pays a lot of your bills, you can't really afford to say, I can't do that, And so what does it look like in order to be like, okay, I feel like shit today. what am I going to do? You know, like, what are the steps
Yeah.
that I'm going to take to get something done and still feel okay about myself at the end of the day?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And as somebody who's been in pretty bad burnout forever, and it seems on to be just getting worse, sometimes I have to, like I found out that I can't work before noon. If I work before noon, it's like downhill from there, right? So I've become like okay with myself, because I think that we have like a stigma, especially in the United States, about like the fact that sometimes you don't want to work before, like they're like, you have to work in the morning or else you're not going to get anything done. And both of us are night people.
Yeah.
So I've had to, like, over the past 3 years, become okay with myself saying, I'm not going to work until 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to start working until 1 o'clock. And maybe I'll work until 9. You know, maybe I'll work until 9 p.m. But I'm not going to start working until 1 o'clock so that I can, like, work myself up to that moment. And...
Right.
And, like, that has been something that has helped me a lot, because if I would make myself get up at 9 a.m. and make myself get, like, going at 9:30 doing pottery, at 1 o'clock I'd be like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Like, I'm out.
I could see that. Yeah.
And so I think that that's really important, is to, like, know who you are. And if maybe you're just a morning person, you know, maybe you get the best done. Like, Isaac Shue gets up at fucking dark 30 and throws like 30 mugs. Maybe if you're like burned out, or you can't, like, you know, you can't really see yourself working the whole day, you just work the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
And optimize that time. Like, for example, when I was working at Graves Co., let's say I had to throw 100 pieces, okay? If I got there at 9 a.m., I would leave at 6 p.m., okay? If I got there at 1 p.m., I would leave at 6 p.m. Like, there was...
Yeah. You get a deadline, and you will make the thing that you need to do last the whole deadline.
The whole deadline. It did not matter. I will do it faster if I feel better, but if I'm there in the morning, I'm not going to fucking do shit. I'm going to get distracted, and I'm going to... eat food, and I'm going to talk to other people, and I'm going to walk around, and then by 6 o'clock, I'm like, great, I'm done.
Yeah.
And so, like, finding out that that was who I was, and that's the type of personality, helped me actually get work done and feel good about myself. I think the biggest thing about burnout is you feel like fucking shit. You're just like, you just feel like a failure because you haven't done what you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like having all these shows and stuff, or these commitments, and you're like, God damn it, I'm not going to be giving my, like, an A+, you know, grade on all of these.
Because you could know what a good looking booth inventory could look like. You know what it is. Like, you know what's going to sell, you know what you need to bring, but can you fulfill that?
Right.
In a timely manner. And, yeah.
And sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes when you are in burnout, taking a break in the middle of something that's really important is not necessarily the right thing to do. You know, like I think that, like...
What would be that really important thing? What do you mean by that? Is that really important thing the show a month from now, or you're talking about...
Like, let's say that Christmas is coming up and the like busy season is just starting. And you're like, I can't do this.
I need a week vacation.
Well, you have to figure out whether you're going to bounce back from that week vacation, or if maybe cutting your days in half is better than taking a whole week off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
because it could feel like a mountain when you get back.
Right. I still think that taking breaks is really important, but maybe, like I said, cutting your days in half, or doing a lot less work in 1 week and then, like, hitting it again. Like, still doing work just to kind of, like, get you through so that you feel, like, accomplished, But maybe not taking like a full break until you're like done with Christmas, and in January you take the whole fucking month off. Just take the whole fucking month.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I think Heidi takes a whole month
Mm-hmm.
in January, I'm pretty sure. She's like, peace out, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, we got commitments like that too. Like we're going to ClayCon West, and I'm going to stay a couple days later, and we're going to go to Bryce Canyon or whatever. Like,
yeah,
those kind of things. I piggyback those to be like, okay, this is good for me. Like, I'm still getting quote unquote work done because I'm at the conference. I'm getting value out of it. It's not so black and white of exactly what I'm getting out of it.
Yeah.
But I know that there's value in socializing with peers and talking and figuring out, like, talking business, talking human things, and just getting out of my day-to-day. And then also you get to, have less of a plan and just go out and go for a hike or go to like, I know we're going to go to a tiki bar and, like, the things that we enjoy and just trickling those in. I definitely see the value in that stuff and not just completely isolating from non-work related things and being like, I don't have time for that. I've always felt like
you guys are actually really good at that. You're good at like taking the trips and taking the breaks,
Yeah. And even if it's just like a game night, like I'm always like, hey, like, can we get a game night on the calendar, or can we do, something with, I don't know, something, so like go to a burlesque show or whatever. And it's like something fun or a comedy show. I mean, I always throw comedy shows at Rachel and be like, hey, can we go to this? So yeah, I definitely see the value in that. It's just I think I definitely put on the back burner the things that I do for myself, like, going golfing or something for an afternoon. Like,
yeah,
might not do that as much, but I still see value in the routine of my day-to-day that are kind of like non-negotiables, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I need to walk for an hour or like 40 minutes or whatever, like every day, or at least every weekday. I pretty much do that. So like walking to the post office, even if I don't have anything to mail, I will still walk in the neighborhood and do about 2 miles of walking every day. Like, for me, that's a non-negotiable. 3 days a week, Rachel and I cook together. We make our meals. So, like, that's a non-negotiable. We need to figure that out because otherwise the food will go to waste. And I don't like wasted stuff like that. And then gotta do my push-ups every day. So, like, and pretty much, like, show up for the day job, work the 9 to 5. If I get there at 9:30, I don't make myself feel bad. I'm like, okay, it's okay. Like, I'm not making it a habit. Like, I get in, get going at 9 as much as I can. But, like, I think it would definitely change when I'm full-time pottery. I'm not going to get up at 9. Like, if I could sleep until 10:30 every day or 10 o'clock every day, I fucking will.
Right, because you're a night person. And I think that, like, recognizing where your strengths lie is really important to not burning out. Because, like, forcing yourself to do something that you hate, i.e. working in the morning, is something that, like, you get up and you're like, fuck, I fucking hate this shit.
Yeah.
And then you just grow resentment towards that.
Yeah.
And it, like, I don't like putting on handles. So I stopped. Like, I just stopped. And it's fine. It's fine for me. Everything's fine. Like, nothing has collapsed, And,
yeah, you realize what you're giving up. You realize the sales potential. You realize all that stuff. And then you're okay with what you're giving up. And you've made peace with it. You're not like,
for sure.
Oh, but maybe I could do like, maybe I'll go back to it if it's like, if I'm desperate enough, or like, I don't know.
No. I mean, I'll do, like, mugs for people if they need it, obviously. But, yeah, no. But also, I think that what's been kind of good for me recently is, like, having goals, certain goals that I'm excited about, like, a little bit more than just like the day-to-day stuff. So I'm a big believer in like changing up your products every year. I know we've talked about this. You're not like, you don't change it up as much. I like to. I like to like at least like add a shape or change up the design or something like that. And
I'm very slow and steady on the changes. Like,
yeah,
maybe a new tool that you give me, and I'm like, okay, I'll try this, and then it's like I fucking love it.
I think we're getting rated. What the fuck? There's been 3 low planes in the last 5 minutes. Anyway. So, like, for instance, I've decided to change to 7 colors for the earrings, and I'm going to do it in a different way, and it's going to be a completely different, not a completely different design, but, like, a different product application, in the end. And I've told myself that I want to get my wholesale up and running by the end of January. And I have...
What does up and running mean to you?
Like, good pictures taken, on fair, like, good to go.
Okay, so listed and ready for buyers.
Yeah, by the end of January. So, and I've challenged, like, 2 other potters to do it with me. Deanna and Jesse. And so I was like, bro, let's do this. You know? And so we have like a common goal that we're working towards. And it's like the whole accountability buddy situation. Like, I cannot tell you how many times Aletha from Aletha Bean Pottery has like literally saved my ass by just being like, what we used to do, where she's like, hey, you want to call? Like, let's just get on the phone. We got some work to do. Let's just talk it out, you know, while we're working.
Yeah.
So, like, those little things have helped me. But, like, having a goal has been really good. And having something to look forward to in the next year, I think is big. You know?
Do you change up the designs for your enjoyment mostly, or for customers? Or do you get bored, or what?
I don't fucking care about customers. It's for my enjoyment. Like,
okay. Because I feel like it's sometimes people tend to change things so frequently that there's nothing they're known for, because they're known to be constantly changing, and it's like, why get excited about this? Because I think you need to be doing something for a period of time before you like get so skilled at it that you're like, okay, like I found my stride with it. And if you're changing so frequently, then you can't really find your stride and optimize with your customers if you don't find that stride.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when I change stuff, I typically like keep a lot of the elements the same, but like add something. Like this year I added like cylinder shapes.
So the colors and the design are kind of like your thread.
Right, it's like the thread. And then the earrings, it's been my first full year of doing earrings. And when I do the next thing, I think what's really going to be good for me is doing an actual line, like how Heidi does. She has like a full-on like fall line, summer line, you know? So it's like an actual line that you release. And I think that it'll be great just because it's going to be the same shapes, a lot of the same shapes. It's just going to be different colors, and it's going to be shiny instead of matte. You know? Like, it'll be the same, essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit different application to it.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to be like, oh, you completely changed.
Yeah. The only thing I think about with the lines is like I feel like I'm always behind on decisions like that. Like spring, it's like, when do you need to start the spring stuff? Do you have the forms for the spring, or do you need to like get them finished by May or by March so that you can photograph them and get them advertised, and you're like building up the versus like, okay, we hit May, oh shit, I need to choose the spring collection colors. And then like, do you have to advertise? Like, how much trickle do you need to like get people in the loop of like what you're doing and what the reasoning behind it is, and sell it?
I think that all like adds to somebody like me. It adds a sort of like,
it's kind of like a framework, I guess, for you, so you can set your schedule loosely.
Yeah. So it's not as so like, it's not like. So what I'm thinking is, for the future, like, hey, I need to like maybe put on the calendar as a reminder in March to start working on the spring collection. you know? So that way I'm not behind, but I can also look forward to it. So, like, let's say it starts May 1st, which is my birthday. So, like, I'll be like, this is awesome. It's my birthday. I'm releasing this right now, and I've been working up to it for 2 months, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I think that is what's, like, exciting me right now.
I wonder, I feel like some people could get burned out from the seasonal stuff, and you're like, oh, I need to make some pumpkins or something, or I need to make some ornaments, and it's like you're playing to the seasons. That's why I've kind of gotten away from the seasonal items, because for one, what do you do with them after you don't sell them? Do you have to hold them around for the rest of the year until next year, and then like what do you do there? You know, how much of a time period do you have to like sell it? How much is that taking away from the other things that you could be making? I don't know. It just feels like in some sense it seems like a money grab to go for that.
Well, I think that it could do either. You know, like some people love seasons. Like some people love fall.
That's true.
So maybe that's what gets them out of that weird, like, depressive state of like, God damn it, I wish I didn't have to make another fucking mug. And so they're like, oh, I can make like 50 pumpkins. Like, this is awesome. You know? Like, that might be something to look forward to. So I think it's different for everybody, you know?
Plus it gives them a goal in mind. Like 50 pumpkins is what I'm shooting for. And then or it's Isaac and it's like 700 pumpkins.
7,000. You know, it's fine. I think Karina made 2,000 mini pumpkins.
Yeah. And I think his goal was 800 pumpkins.
Yeah.
Like regular, like thrown pumpkins. Like when you got to start on this thing in January. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just behind I would have to plan ahead so much that I'm not going to say I never would make seasonal things, because I've made ornaments before, but they just kind of hang around. I don't put a lot of work into them to make them.
I think also me and you definitely don't care as much about the holidays. So, like, for somebody like me who literally could not care less about Christmas, like, for me making ornaments, I kind of want to make ornaments this year just to try it out, but my own, like, twist on them. But that's because I like the design, not because I like Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, if I made a fucking tree-shaped ornament, just kill me. Just ask me what's wrong.
Are you talking
like something's going on?
You're talking about the thrown trees, like the decorative luminary trees, or like actually putting a tree on the tree?
Yeah, like a flat tree ornament that like goes on a tree, you know.
I got the cookie cutters for the trees. You can make some while you're here.
No, I would rather die.
And then do some of your designs on them.
I would rather die. Like, fuck that shit. Totally. You know? Oh,
fuck all of that shit.
But it, like, took me probably 4 years to realize that I just don't like doing that. And so it really doesn't make any sense for me to make ornaments, because I don't like Christmas. Like, and I can't fake it, you know? I can't be like, oh, I love Christmas, and like have ornaments on a stupid fucking tree that I like can't handle, you know? It's just like,
yeah, I had a little bit of fun when I was doing the cookie cutters with the negative space. So you know how you and then you get the weird funny shapes in between the cookie cutters.
Yeah.
And I would like still keep those and cut. What the fuck are you doing, Autumn?
That was like a perfect meow across the microphone.
You were so good. I thought that was Autumn just now. Yeah, so I was having fun with a negative space and just doing something funky with them. But I mean, I don't know. People have so many ornaments, like, you know.
Yeah.
But then I see somebody like Kenny, Sing, and Kurt that make these ornaments that are like super well made, like molded, and they look like quality ornaments that are like, okay, like you would be willing to buy that single ornament because it looks awesome.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah,
that's like a good challenge for them for ending the year on. Like, But yeah, the time it takes to make the ornaments and stuff. I don't know.
You know what's something that I did recently? Well, just yesterday. I was going to tell you about this anyway, but it kind of actually applies to this. So me and Sephora had to talk about our class that we're going to do in the upcoming months. And I'm going to do like an efficiency throwing class, so keep a lookout.
Looking forward to that. You're welcome.
Yeah, I told her I'd get her. Thank you. I told her I'd get her all my stuff out to her soon. And I think, and this kind of goes along with why it's taken you such a long time to burn out. I think that we were talking about it, and I'm going to do efficiency and throwing. And then I was like, you know what we should do? Because we're going to do it in January, like early January. So we're planning like way, way, way ahead. And I was like, you know what we should do? We should make a La La Land goal and a realistic goal. So Sephora came up with the La La Land phrase. So she was like, okay, so what's our La La Land goal? And our La La Land goal is 100 people.
Oh, your attendance goal. Okay.
Yeah, the attendance goal is 100 people, and our realistic goal is like 40, right? So...
Wow. I would be impressed if you got 40 in there. Did you do 40 based on mine because I had 30?
No, that was her. She said 40.
Oh, okay.
So, and because I think we have so much time to like talk about it, and
Yeah.
it's such a general topic.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like very, you know. So, but now, and like beforehand, I wasn't really looking forward to it, and I typically wouldn't look forward to something like that. But now I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm fucking ready. Like, let's go. I want to make $2,000 or whatever on this stupid little video that's like an hour.
You can fucking make it. I was like, this is right up her alley. Becca doesn't have to do all the logistics. You figure out the logistics. Becca's in. She'll put the 2 hours of work in or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's like easy peasy work for me, right? But like that goal, just that goal, like pumped me up. And same with like when Heidi was going through all the colors and stuff, and like having a goal for like the cosmic or jewels or whatever. And that stuff like makes me look forward to something. And I think that that's the thing about me, is that I have to look forward to something. And for you, what has taken you such a long time to even get to the point of saying like, I'm fucking tired, is that you're always having a goal to like get better sales. Like, you've always had those goals of like, I want to make so much money at this show. I want to make this much money. And so you've always had like goals to look forward to. And even though like a lot of people have those goals, they're just not as motivated as you, and they're not as analytical as you. So that really works for you, you know? And so it's like, it's almost like you have to find what works for you. Wow. It's almost... I think Autumn's, I think Autumn's gained a little weight. She's looking a little...
Yeah, I think since she was at the vet, she gained some weight, yeah.
She's cute.
She's a chunky, like 9.5 pounds.
Oh, so cute. That's like the size that Babs was. So cute. Anyway.
You were saying that I push so hard and want the sales so much that...
Yeah, the sales, so that you're focused on that, so you're not burned out by it, you know? Because you're like, well, I want to do this, so I got to do this to get there, you know?
But why is it hit a tipping point? Why is it on the horizon now? Because I realize the work that's involved to hit those goals?
I think so. Well, and also you've overbooked yourself.
Yeah. I mean,
there's only so much one man can do.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the commitments don't make business sense to do. Like, you know, I didn't have... Like, pot swap makes no business sense, right?
Right.
Building the soda kiln at my house makes no business sense in the short term. Like, it will long term for my enjoyment and just for fun. And like, you know, going to, I don't know, pottery tour. Does that make business? I mean, maybe it's business sense, maybe it's connections, stuff like that. Yeah, some of the things don't make business sense, but it's it's enjoyable to do these little challenges, like getting the date on the calendar for building the soda kiln, and
Right.
and it's something that I didn't know I wanted to do, but since I did the workshop at Isaac's, I'm like, okay, like this is attainable. Like it's not something that's out of reach.
Right.
That is just something fun that I just want to go visit Isaac every now and then and fire. Like I want to have ownership of it, and I want to challenge myself to figure out these glazes, test them, run the kiln, figure out the firing schedule. Like there's so many variables to figure out.
Yeah.
And I want to figure out how the hell to sell this stuff.
Yeah.
I've never sold atmospheric fired stuff, and I'm like, how do I balance that? But also, what's involved and what's the cost involved and what's the time cost involved? And
yeah, and like the transitioning, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Like transitioning into like selling atmospheric.
Yeah. And I mean, luckily the clay bodies and the glazes can all be the same. I don't really have to change that because of the firing temperature is the same, but all the extra stuff that goes with it, the kiln prep and the gas and the firing process and all that stuff, it's not set it and forget it anymore. It's very hands-on. So
yeah,
like, but I think and part of that is the camaraderie, the social aspect with each other when we were at the workshop, and driving 14 hours there, 14 hours back together, and we're going to get that time together with Tony and Meg are going to come, and we're going to do that together as a unit. And then I foresee the other experiences around the soda kiln and all the process that's involved, and teaching other people about it once I get it going and get it running. Like, I might have some goals in mind of like, I would love to fire it X number of times or in a year or whatever, and just see what happens. But it's also like, I'm going to have to figure out how that makes business sense long term. But right now it might not, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't, but I don't know that I could have foreseen a lot of that before I went to the workshop in August.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if also you're getting tired because you found like a new prospect for you and you like aren't there yet. Does that make sense? Like you're like, oh, soda fire, like that might be a future for me. Why the fuck am I still doing cone 6? Like,
it's still cone 6, but why am I still doing oxidation
and like in your mind you're like, god damn it, why am I doing this? Like, this could be so much cooler.
Yeah.
I just have to get that done. Like I think that sometimes when you're stuck in something that like you've been doing the same stuff for years.
For a long time, know? And I've developed all that consistency, the forms that are very solid. I'm very skilled at making them and then selling them. Like, I know how to sell that stuff.
Right.
I know the shows to be at to sell that stuff. I don't really know the shows for the soda fire stuff. I don't know how the soda fire stuff's going to go over at shows. I don't know how to... Do I jury with the soda fired stuff? Do I jury with the oxidation and soda fire stuff? I feel like I tease it in a little bit at the shows and it not be dominant. And then I've also got the like Sgraffito stuff that's finding its footing, and like people are really loving, and they're, the oil bottles that are Sgraffito are like have found their stride, and I'm introducing new colors and people are gravitating to that. But then it's like, but I still love the like simplicity of just a mug with a little bit of texture and a nice glaze. So like, I'm going to have to make some decisions.
Like, that transition might be like kind of stressing you out a little bit, and like internally, just like, down in your stomach, like kind of like bubbling up, and you're just like, okay, how's it going to go? It could, like, that just makes a lot of sense when there's like a change on the horizon. And there's a lot of planes tonight. That's the fifth one.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on over there.
What is going on?
What's going on in Memphis?
Anyway, I know that Memphis is the hub for FedEx, so maybe it's all the FedEx planes coming
in. That possibly could be it.
But we're a little north for that, like northeast.
Huh.
Anyway.
I
But
I think I also feel like my to-do list is very long and getting lengthier, and I'm not putting much of a dent in it. And when I look at my time allotment that I have, it's not enough. So I got to figure out like what can I cut back on.
Cut back. Yeah, and that's hard.
And it's like you know, is it going to get simpler once the shopping season's over? I don't think it's realistic to just be like, well, it's only a bubble. It's only a bump. Like, it's a bump in the road. Like, it'll be fine once the year's over. But, like, I've been, like, compiling the customers over and over and over on top of each other. So, like, why would I think that the demand would not continue, even if it's, like, slowly growing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have to meet that demand. And maybe some of that was talking with Heidi about, like, pricing. Like, the pricing is a variable that I can adjust that will help deter some supply that I need. And then still make the same amount of money or more money. But my time, you know, I don't have excess time. At least right now. I mean, obviously the big chunk of time would be if I quit my job.
Right. But you're still technically, like, putting in full-time work in your...
Yeah, I don't think it's reasonable to expect that my throughput or my like the amount of I don't know,
effort that you're putting in now.
I don't think the results are gonna significantly grow. Like maybe I can produce 15% more or 20% more, but I'm not gonna produce 50% more.
No.
Because I'll find, like, I'm on a time crunch now because I have the day job that is set in stone every day of the week or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, I find kind of like you're talking about, you start work at 1 to 6. Like, I have my time box of when I can do the work. So I will figure out how to make it work, what I can do, what I can't do. But who's to say that if I didn't have my day job, I would still do whatever until 2 o'clock and then go into the studio at 2, and I'm really only gaining like 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
And not 8 hours.
I would honestly recommend that.
Recommend what? Oh, starting at 2 o'clock or whatever.
Later in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. On a side note that's a little bit off topic, I got a bunch of speedball glazes in today. And
wait, glazes? Oh, okay.
No, underglazes. And I asked them for 5 different colors and just one of each glaze. And they accidentally sent me 5 different colors, but 2 of each glaze?
So, you got duplicates?
10. Yeah, so I have 10 glazes, 10 underglazes, and 5 colors.
Are they pints?
Yes.
Okay. I was about to order some more pints, so if you want to give me some. But I'm going to order some more anyways.
Well, I was thinking, and I texted her, and I texted Megan, and I was like, so we going to do a giveaway?
Oh, there you go. Let's do that.
So I'm going to do a giveaway, but not now because they're doing one right now, so they don't want to go like too heavy on the giveaways, but
right.
So I'm going to do one in December probably.
Did you finish your last speedball thing?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
I didn't watch that one. How did that one go? I don't know that I watched.
Great.
What was the second one? I don't think I watched the second one or the third one. The second one was throwing, right?
Second one was throwing, and the third one was like how to apply the glazes, and I did a tutorial on how to do a gradient.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not watch those two. I think I kind of wanted to watch the throwing one. But you've done that. You've done that many times. So that's why I was like, Sephora, you need to reach out to her because she's done this enough. Like, she knows what the fuck she's doing.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think I'll do it in December, and then I'll probably like throw in one of my cups.
Ooh, and, nice.
It'll be good. That's going to be 5 colors. It's turquoise, yellow, pink, mandarin orange, and violet. Those are really good colors.
I like it.
Yeah. So
you should, and maybe this, you should do a little. So Zipporah and I talked about how to do a little fun giveaway for the oil bottle workshop. You should do a giveaway for the throwing efficiencies of like give away a spot and figure out something fun to do for that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
We did like we were thinking like a timed thing, like throw this thing and have people guess how much time it took you to make it, or guess how many you made in this amount of time or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So they can guess, and it's like you're going to get a variety of options, so it's not so cut and dry.
For sure.
I think that'd be a fun way.
For shizzle.
I did want to mention on the topic that we were talking about for the burnout stuff. So I don't know if it is kind of related to non-negotiable stuff, but for me, the last couple weeks, I've been making just a short list of what I want to accomplish. I do this every now and then, just a daily.
Yeah.
So it's the commitments on the calendar. Like, I have my Clay Lines meeting that I had on my calendar, and I have the recording and stuff. So, like, making a list for the week, you're going to cross them off, as you go, regardless. But, like, planning that I would like to get, this studio time in. And then what am I going to get done in the studio? So, yesterday I set a list of throw 15 of this, handle 15 mugs, and throw 15 mugs. So, like...
Yeah.
It's a reasonable list. It's accomplishable.
Right, and when you accomplish it, you feel good.
Yeah. So, like, be realistic. Know what's within your realm of possibility. Because if you set it too big of a list and you don't achieve it, it probably leaves you in a worse state than if you didn't make a list at all and just did what you could.
For sure. I agree with that.
So...
Definitely realistic lists are important.
And even if you got to start small and just be like... I don't know, make myself lunch today. Like, maybe you normally would just get soup out of a can or something. Like, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, like if you're working too much, your list should probably be like, take a 15-minute break and...
Yeah, go for a walk for 30 minutes or something like that.
Go for a walk, sit down for lunch. Like, those should be those type of things that you can cross off. Not like how much you've actually made. Yeah. But things that, like, are good for your soul.
Yeah, water the plants or, I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's been benefit. I even did it for work this week too, because I find if I don't set a list for the week, then I lose track and I don't feel like I have to go toward anything. Yeah. There's nothing I need to accomplish that's like has a deadline because nobody's enforcing the deadline. So yeah, I'm not going to make much progress, but I have, 4 things on this list and I've checked off 2 of them. And I think I can accomplish these other 2 tomorrow. So
I feel like this has been a really good talk for me. Yeah. Today. Because, like, I'm like, man, I should do that. I should start making more lists.
And that was a weekly list. I mean, this fucking list was 4 things on the list for the whole week. Like, I know what's realistic for what I spend my time doing. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat. Like, I get distracted at work. I'm fucking around for, like... I've talked about it, Yeah. I'm distracted, intentionally distracted. So, like, making a list is going to get me back on track and feeling more accomplished because I find myself feeling guilty for not working as hard as I should be. And not focusing where I'm being paid to focus. So... And I think some of that is stemming from the pot. A lot of that's probably stemming from the pottery. And but I still need to, fulfill my commitments. And then when I have time for the pottery, I focus on the things that are important because that to-do list is going to be very long. But if you don't make something that's attainable and like break it down into small chunks that are bite-sized, manageable, reasonable, instead of just keeping a long to-do list of 15 things and being like, I'll get to 2 or 3 of these today. Like, maybe have a smaller short-term plan for that. Like, what are you going to get done today? Just today. And then go that way. So, because, you're probably not going to achieve everything on the list. And you're probably going to have things on the list that or need to add things to the list that are not even on the list. They're going to take a lot of time that you're not even thinking about. So, yeah. So that's been helpful for me the last couple weeks.
I like that. I need to leave. It's 11 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock there.
It's 12:05 for me.
Yeah.
All right. What did we hit? We hit 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Yeah, we did good.
I was looking at this chart on here, signs of burnout. It's just got a bunch of graphics. It says signs of burnout: exhaustion, dreading work, trouble sleeping, depression, quote unquote drowning. So like drowning in work, I guess. Short temper. Ooh, I've had a little short temper lately.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Or you've seen it through text. I don't know.
Yes.
No time for non-work related things.
I check all of those except for the last. I have no time for work related things.
You always save time for non-work related things. Did you hear me?
Oh, you went away.
I said you always save time for not work related things. Or
I do.
Or your schedule is based around non-work related things first. And then you're like, but I'll get some work done. Like, don't worry.
Don't worry. I'm pretty sure that the kids here don't even think I have a job. Because whenever I come to Memphis, I don't work at all. Like, I work for like a day.
How do you feel motivated being around other... Well, one, when you're at your friends, maybe it's different. But being around the other potters and the other peers of yours, does that motivate you? Does it... Do you get just like... You're just like peering in like a fly on the wall? Or does it affect you at all?
No, not anymore. It used to. I would say it's something more like Michiana Pottery Tour does it. If it's like something with like a bunch of people. But if I'm at somebody's house, I'm usually like, fuck, I don't want to work.
But the Pottery Tour is a little different because everybody's coming to one place that is...
Yeah.
They're not working. But you're seeing their finished products. Maybe that is an impact of like how much they're making, what they're making, what's the quality of what they're making.
Right.
How do they, I don't know, set up their displays or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had a few good conversations that have made me a little excited, you know, but I'm like, I mean, we all know I'm struggling. And I think that when I go to Utah this summer or this winter, I'll probably get a regular job. And
in Utah,
just like part-time. Yeah, just like part-time, probably at like a restaurant, just so that I can have like a little bit of like non-pottery, just to kind of like reset.
Is that more for the money's sake, or is it for something else?
I think it's for something else. I mean, it's the money too, but like, I think I just need something else to remind me of how good my life is, you know?
Like
and
what? Like how much you got to work to make what you expect to make and what you are capable of making.
Yeah.
With pottery.
I mean, I don't make a lot of money. I think we've talked about that. I don't make a lot of money, but I also don't need a lot of money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of money that I make, I probably would have to work full time at a like, you know, more than minimum wage job. So.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't even know that. I'm doing math.
And then what would be involved in getting that job?
Yeah, I'd have to make like 9 times 40 times... I'd have to make like 14 an hour almost.
Yeah. And that's... Yeah, so you're saying like 40 grand for the year is what you need minimum.
I mean, I've only made 21 this year.
But that's what the number you were going off of, wasn't it? 40 grand?
Yeah. Well, I was looking at like, I think 14 is like 39. 29. 14 is $29,000 a year at 40 hours a week. So.
Wow. Yeah.
So like.
And then would you be satisfied with 40 hours a week doing something
Right.
that
When I
leaves you free time outside of the 40 hours to do other things, but
right. But like now I work like almost nothing. I don't even really work. Like when I do work, I put like 3 days of like solid work in, and then I don't work for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's interesting because it's, how do you spend your time doing, and a lot of people that work for the lower wage don't have energy to do other things that they have passion or enjoyment or aspirations to do, that takes a lot of time to get up to that point of like making a wage that is to replace the wage that you're already making, like,
right,
because there's so many skills you need and there's so much work that you have to do on your own to actually get the results you need. So
yeah.
All right, let's get out of here.
Sweet.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
You made it this far. We haven't had a long one like this for just the two of us in a long time.
I know, it's been a minute.
I mean, half of it was all the other stuff, but
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Wheel Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.